This is a Moleskine 8.5 by 12 standard art book, not the watercolor one. The decal is from Jennifer, a designer I used to work with at Gameloft. Again, this book's been around for a while. It took a while to fill. I'm not used to using sketchbooks this big, but I really liked it. As it got to the close of getting filled, I was very anxious to get another one to make sure I had another one to replace it. So I guess it kind of fits in now. Again, it's more of a stationary book. It's not one that I really take out to the field to do life drawing or to do any urban sketching. But yeah, it's turned into one of my favorites, this size anyway. I may try something with a different paper because this paper gets redundant after a while, but it's not bad. It'll you can push it to a few good limits. You can see the variable changes in my identity. Nerve Pixel is kind of the one that I've established and probably will finalize off with. That'll be the one I stay with. I used to call myself Inked Out a long time ago. Yeah, so that's the story behind that. Okay, so what are we in store for? Again, a lot of random stuff. Some real good, some real bad. Pen and ink. This is me experimenting with using some lighter drawing, like blue line stuff. This is orange line. Go figure. So kind of doing some detailed stuff, and then overdrawing it with pen and ink, and it speaks for itself. And lots of basic line stuff. Nothing to write home about. Like I said, some good, some bad. This is obviously an annoying thing because this ink that I used was, at some parts, are would smear, not waterproof. Looks like it dried now. Anyway. Again, yeah, this is just stream of consciousness stuff. Not really sure where it came from or what it means. Some overworked watercolors with a bunch of other stuff. Some mixed media. Again, kind of an arresting image. I like it. I like the way it looks. Not beautiful anatomy-wise, but it has a nice sense of character. Some of these are overworked, and I like the overworkedness of them. You can work things to a point where they become overworked and ugly and look kind of amateurish. But just they're not as strong. But sometimes if you keep at it, you can bring it back. This is one of those brush pens, those cheap plastic Japanese brush pens, the brown one. I can't remember the name of them. And more pen and ink, probably Platinum Preppies. Again, the blue lines, it's funny, the blue line really, it helps you kind of tighten your sketches up. I really was obsessed with this image and actually did an oil painting of it, and I don't think it's very successful, the oil painting. The proportions are off and it works much better as a sketch. But there's how, when you see, I guess, how do you go? You have a sketch and then you get inspired and you take it further. Was this successful? I don't really consider it that successful, but it was a good experiment in oils. So there's that. One beside it, some kind of random rock and roll theme, I guess. You can figure that out. What do we got in here? Why is this in here? This doesn't need to be here. Again, some more blue lines. Some anime copies. Full coverage with the ink. Inks, again, this is probably one of these pens here. One of these Pentals. Brush pen. Great ink coverage. Not sure it's waterproof either. So you'll see this started out with a blue line underneath. Strange and wonderful drawings. Some more. I'd like to make this ring. This is a copy of a man, an Italian black and white photo of a man running to the beach about to jump in the water. I don't know where the original source photo is. It's when I was in Italy, I probably saw it and drew it. Again, just more random playing with blue line and then inking after. Some of these blue lines were done years ago and then I went back and inked them. Here's some that are done and some that aren't. Right, typical sketchbook color testing. I don't know what I was working on here. Maybe some kind of logo type. This is an interesting one. I haven't had the courage to ink it yet. I just like it. I'm not sure if you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. The light off the window actually seems to illuminate and glow these books better than all my studio lights. So today I have all the studio lights off. The color just seems to sing better with the way the light's coming in. Again, a pretty nondescript page. This is some commissioned stuff I was working on for Doritos to do some comp work. I think it's on my portfolio. Another one of these. The blue lines with the black. Playing with fine point Pilot colored pens. I think they're Pilot. Love these Faber-Castell highlighter pencils. Really great for adding some snap to your drawings. You'll see part of my running theme with this book is neons and highlighters, stuff like that. This is a tree that's near our house where I used to walk my dog. It started out as a tiny little sprout and it kept getting bigger. One day I stopped, took a photo of it, and put it in my sketchbook. This I've redrawn a few times. I've photographed it and inked it digitally in Procreate. It's showing up on my Instagram. I don't know what it is with this image. Something about it. It's very appealing. Again, I don't know why I didn't ever do anything with it in here. Some more stream of consciousness stuff. The blue lines. The blue lines, when you use them, for me, they make the drawings deeper somehow. I guess they give you a chance to really execute and work a lot out, but puts more, I think the drawings have more depth when you blue line them. From a comic standpoint, I understand why they do it, but I think just using it at your own experimenting with doing blue lines first and over, it takes away some of the spontaneity, but it also adds some other value to it. Here I'm just playing with these inks. I guess I really didn't know what to do with them, so this is what I did. You know, these drawings are not planned out. They're just kind of random. Put a mark on the page and see what happens. Another bad ink. I bought this pen online. I think it's called an Etherton or Etherington. It starts with E. Big marketing promotion. I think it's about $40. Very good pen. Comes with a really bad converter. It's called Ellington. My bad. Sorry for the delay here on this and why I'm dogging it on this pen. It writes really well. The converter is crap. If a Waterman converter fits it, and the ink that came with it is really bad. It has this gooey kind of consistency that after time when it sits in the pen. But as a pen, it's not bad. I haven't run it with any heavy duty inks. Playing with some anime eyes, some life log drawing that I did that didn't really work out. Some of these not oblique but not lifting your pen drawings. This was something I drew for some contest or some prompt for some sketchbook thing. Again with the neons. I don't know what happened here with this texture. When I did the watercolor, this was underneath. This almost looks like a wax stencil or something was on there. These were done on location up in Muskoka. This too, this was a view, and then this came out of some source photo that I had or some source sketch. This is watercolor with salt, a nice effect. Drunk baby in the sky. I think I had a few when I did this drawing, to be honest with you, if I remember correctly. Again with the blue line. Not sure where that came from, but it's a neat drawing, you know. Took a long time, as did this. This is from life. One early morning at a cottage. More cottage stuff. Again, these flat washes, I find that when I first put them down, I don't like them, but when I look at them later, once they really get into the page, this paper isn't really conducive to watercolor, but forcing it on can be neat if you kind of learn the limitations of it. This line's a bit harsh here, but anyway, some traditional stuff. These are fun. Again, watercolor really brings these home. And this is waterproof ink. I love the wash on this. It's a great color, great tone. This pot on the head thing with these target light, this is kind of an influence by a Japanese artist that I really like that does these kind of industrial things. Very famous artist. I have a couple of their books. Think It. Again, I need a comment in there. This is one of the earlier drawings in the book. Again, this is one of the ones that's overworked to a point where it's not very successful. There's not much I like about this drawing. Maybe I'll go back to it one day and try to bring it around. I think it has potentially, there's hope for it, but it needs some effort. Even this, when I first looked at it, it's just muddy, but I don't know. You like things, you don't like things. This is done with a watercolor pencil. I don't know where that came from. Almost looks like a Star Wars thing. This is gouache on acrylic. This is acrylic gouache on acrylic paint. This woman broke my teeth in 1975. Every time I open this page and I look at this, I want to blackline her. Maybe one day I'll do it. But these acrylic gouache, it's an interesting, I use gouache, I use acrylics. I think these are the, what are they called? The Stevenson ones? The Japanese ones. I can't remember the name of them. Sorry, I'll pop it in on the video. My favorite gouache, I would say, acrylic gouache would probably be the Liquitex one. I love golden acrylics, but the Liquitex gouache ones are nice. Again, this is ready for a painting. I haven't got to it yet. Here's another one. I love to do these in sketchbooks, especially sketchbooks this size. They will come back and get filled. I should have waited, I guess, and filled it before. This is a more recent blue line that I did. I had big plans for this drawing. It got this far. I photographed it and brought it into Procreate on my iPad, and that's where the story ends. Interesting drawing. Pencil crayons, some cheap pencil crayons that Articulations gave me in a gift box when I was participating in one of their sketching events in their neighborhood. This drawing was taken from a mugshot or some vintage photo. Here, what do we got under here? Okay, this guy. Again, another drawing that this probably was from a photo reference from the 20s. Here's a blank page, just to give your eyes a rest. Now we're getting into some of this. This is a drawing that was done with those colored graphites. I don't have them handy, I don't think. Let me just see. They're very interesting. I think it's Derwent. Where are they? They're not here. Anyway, they're the blocks, the color blocks. This green and this blue. They're very interesting medium. They're very, very messy though. There's a quarter. Here's a quarter. There's a quarter. Call someone who gives a shit. That's a quote from a movie. I think it's a John Candy movie. Uncle Buck, maybe. People used to tell me that I looked like Uncle Buck because I had a car like that. If you know what Uncle Buck is. If not, you might want to check it out. So yeah, that's what that's from. I don't know what this is. Again, this is when you draw something and it just kind of happens. Did God really make me? Wow, thanks God. I'm not religious, but sometimes I guess because I went to church as a kid, these things come out. I like the perspective of these crosses. Again, this is dying for some line work over top, some contrasty line work. I gotta tell you, things don't look good from here. A lot of shit was going on in our lives at the time that I did this drawing, and abandon ye all hope from here on in, or whatever what that quote is. Anyway, we got through it. This is more of that kind of graphite stuff. You hear me opening the drawers here because I'm looking for it somewhere. It's this putty, and again, this is a total nightmare to use. this graph, but it has some neat effects when you mix it with other mediums. So this is some alien. I don't know which alien, but it's some alien. Again, pencil crayons and this graph stuff with a little white. Again, more of this graph stuff. I had to wear rubber gloves to do all this. It was almost like surgery. These are very messy and smeary till they dry. I think I see it's still coming off. So this is where this tissue should be. But I guess the bigger book allows you to do more of a, studio type setting stuff, or more sitting down, not mobile. This is nice. Again, a random pattern by rolling this putty with these rubber gloves on. Art Graph, I think is the name of the product. Very, very cantankerous to use, but has an interesting effect. Will I use it everywhere and always want it? No, but I like what it did here. It's very organic looking. Okay, some more drivel, the eyes. More graph. This is me experimenting with a Fude pen. I'm looking for the perfect Fude. I haven't found one yet. I got a couple. The two Sailor ones have been a real lunch bag letdown. This green one here, I find it cloggy and not great. There's another blue one that I have that was more expensive than that. Those aren't expensive. They just don't work right. They don't flow. And when you're drawing with a Fude, you want flow. This one does, but I can't remember the name of it. It's just a cheap one. Some of the cheap ones on Amazon are worth the risk. Again, I will probably overpaint something here. I don't need to vocalize that. I don't know where that came from. Again, some watercolors. I think those are Quor watercolors. I'm in and out of love with them. These are Schmenke watercolors, again with the Lexington ink. This Noodler's ink, Lexington Gray. It's a great neutral ink. Kind of if you don't want black, but you don't want something that's a little more water fast. Like it will a little bit. You could see here it holds up pretty good. Again, this is me mostly working with the Fude pen, and also working on this whole horizon line thing where the heads are. Trying to get my head around that for when I'm doing some on-location sketching. You could see though, if you hit them with the watercolor, how much more dynamic they are. Like if I throw a wash on here, which I guess one day I will, sometimes putting these washes in just becomes, it's cathartic if you're in the mood, but they can just be work. So you get lazy and you just move on. I don't love that page, but it is what it is. Then there's the blank ones, but then we get into some other drawings here of heads and faces. Again, some of this stuff is probably copied from sources. It's so easy to copy once you get to a certain level in your skill set to like just draw stuff from reference. I like it. The challenge for me is I can draw this stuff from reference really well, but I can't seem to retain how to draw it from imagination. I try, I guess it's just practice. I guess I am doing it, but like these drawings here are nice. But if I go to try to do one, maybe I just don't, I'm too lazy to put it all ahead of itself and remember all the details of how to follow through on the process. And I guess that's it. Here's another drawing I did based on an influence of that Japanese artist I was talking about. I can't remember his name. Katsuya Terada, I guess is his name. I have a couple of his books. And I guess that's it. So that was a big one. Again, that book has been around a long time, but I'm pretty well ready to put it to bed and start a new one. So once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.